I've lost the books. I don't know where they are. Friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah from Ink and Hue Colouring, and today we are going to be looking at a acrylic marker tutorial for beginners. I am someone who loves to dabble in mixed media and try new things, and over the past 12 months, I have been doing a couple of different techniques with acrylic markers, and I wanted to show you some of the options that are available to you as a beginner. If you are someone that likes to look at all the different content that is out on social media at the minute with acrylic markers, you may have seen there is some wildly technical stuff that's out there. People can do incredible work. Maybe you're wanting to dip a toe into that world today, but you don't know where to start. So I thought we would start off with a beginner-friendly video using the 60 set of the Liquid Ink of the Arrtx acrylic markers. So if you're not sure about the different types of acrylic markers, they come in a few main types based on how the paint moves inside the pen. So the first one and the most common is the pump or the valve style. So if you think of your traditional Posca markers, so they're the ones that you need to shake, and you also need to pump to activate the ink flow. So I'd say this is more of your classic acrylic marker design, and this one is a bullet point, but you can get them in bigger points as well. The size really depends on the type of artwork that you're interested in doing. There are other ones that have a cotton core inside, so like these Arrtx acrylic markers as well. So there is no shaking required. All the paint is absorbed in the cotton. However, these can dry out a little bit quicker. So if we have a look at one, it's a brush tip. So there's no shaking or activation or pressing required. You just go in and color it like a texture, which can be really great for some people because some can find the whole shaking thing a bit annoying and time consuming. So then the third type, which is actually my favorite type, there are the third ones, which are like the ones that I have here, that you shake to mix, but the paint actually flows freely. You don't need to activate it. So you just shake it and then open her up and you can begin to draw. And these ones look a little bit different. See how they've got this, the reservoir is in here, so we can see the paint kind of sits in there, and yeah, like a little reservoir, and it kind of moves through this little attachment things. These ones are my favorite because I don't have to press them. And in my opinion, they are juicier than these ones. But again, if you're someone with wrist issues or injuries or things like that, constantly shaking them can sometimes be a bit of a thing, but you can actually get little machines or something that you like sit the pen in and it'll shake it for you. So today we're going to be using these. We are going to start, I'm going to show you a few examples of some bold and easy pattern work that you could do with these, where you literally just apply the paint, you color it like a texture or like a marker, like a regular ink marker. And then we are going to step up into something that I've been working on, which is what we're going to continue with and hopefully finish today, is a double page spread. This is in Millie Marotta's Precious Planet. So I've been blending my markers together, pretty much just using the markers and a damp paintbrush. So I'm really not trying to go too hammer and tong on it because I want to give you a technique that I believe is accessible to all people and doesn't require too many layers. There is a little bit of layering to this, but I'm hoping that I can give you some examples today that will help you just feel a little bit more confident to give it a crack. So let me show you some of the examples of the bold and easy coloring, I should say. And before I continue, you can actually use acrylic markers not just on paper. You can use them on wood, glass, stones, things like that, or other plastic surfaces. So if you're wanting to do a deep dive into all the different types of brands out there, all the different things you can do with them, there are two channels that I would recommend, and that would be Coloring Bliss. I believe her name is Jennifer. She goes into a deep dive into all the different brands and how they perform, and she does a whole lot of work, and so does Sarah Renee Clark. So I would encourage you to head to both those channels if you're wanting to do a scientific deep dive into how everything works. So moving on, so the first type that I want to show you is the bold and easy, and that is an example here. So if we go back to it's upside down. So if we go to a non-completed page behind it, start off like that, and you just color over it. Now I have gone across this with a couple of layers, and you can kind of see the pen marks there. So you just apply it like paint. You would just pick up your marker and you would just color like so until you get the thickness that you want. And you can layer them as much as you like. You can put light over dark, etc., etc. They're nice and thick. And then I've gone over with some, I think this was a Sakura pen touch in gold. It's nice and shiny. So that is one example in this book. If you're wondering what this book is, this is a generic artist's colouring book that I found in Kmart last year. They don't have it anymore. So you could just find a similar book like this. This is 100% AI when I look at it. There is another example. So again, if you're after just doing some big, bold colouring and you like the texture of acrylic, then this might be a good approach. It's also a very contemporary art style as well, which I quite like. Sometimes I like doing things like this. And the third one that you can do if you want to start getting a little bit more detailed, it's still the same technique, it's just a little bit smaller spaces. Then we've got this one from Johanna Basford's Secret Garden that I did. This was part of, I have a 90 set of these. I used that 90 set in this. So I will try and remember to link that video. It's a very old video, so I film very differently now. So feel free to watch that one if you like. So this was just pastel background, and I've used that same pen touch for all the different work. So sometimes it's fun to play around with different mediums in colouring books, and these do not bleed through. That has not bled through there, and they have not bled through here either. So this is an example of some other work that I have done. Now I use the Arrtx SimTap markers for this particular one. So this is a wooden essential oils box. So I've just got my oils, which are looking a bit empty because I have half of them out there. And I've just done some work on the side. I really should have sanded the box first, but I was just so keen to dive in that I just did it. So there is a video on this as well. I'll try and remember to tag that too if you're interested, just to see how I did this. I just made this pattern up. I had a look on Pinterest just to see the different styles. It's very Gorman. It's very Mr. Zimmy if you are into those clothing lines. So I got the inspiration from there, very bright. So I just went ahead and just went ham on it. So again, very contemporary style, which I enjoy dabbling in from time to time. So let's quickly just have a look at the acrylic marker set, which was sent to me by Arrtx. So thank you very much, guys, for sending that through. So this is 60 colors. You can get a smaller set, which I do have. So you certainly don't need to get 60 colors if that's too much for you. Sometimes the color choice can be overwhelming, but it comes in a nice little box. I really like their packaging. It's always just, yeah, like that's really a soft, like velvet feel, and then you got like shiny. Yeah, I just love their packaging. I think they nail it. So take that off, and there are a few tiers here. So we have tier 1, which is those colors. Number 2, 3, and 4. So we've got a good color range here, and I have swatched them out. I always do. It's all squished down the bottom because with acrylic markers, I do have to go, because I'm left-handed, I do have to go from the bottom up. What I could have done is just flipped it around and started from the top. I don't think about these things until after. So, yep, they're all squished at the bottom. We've got a nice color selection to work with today. I'm really liking all of these lovely apricots and oranges here. They're just beautiful. And, of course, some of these teals as well. I love this 589. That is stunning. So these ones are known for their thicker ink flow, and they are extremely juicy. And I think, like I was saying before, these are my favorite type because they're so easy to use. I don't have to activate them at all. I do have a few, I think I've got 3 different types of Arrtx acrylic markers now, and these are the ones that I enjoy the most. Even just from the swatching, they were quite consistent to me. The flow was nice, so we'll see how they actually perform. So if you're like, Sarah, yes, I love the bold and easy stuff. I do that all the time, or looks simple enough. However, show me the blended work. I want to level up just a little bit, just to put a toe into it. Then you've come to the right place. We are working in Millie Marotta's Precious Planet, like I was saying before. And we are working on the double page spread. As is very obvious, I have already started this with another type of Arrtx marker, and this is that cotton core one from the set of 90 that I started out with. I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive into this style before making this video, and I also wanted to give you an example of what it can look like as well before we dive in, other than the thumbnail. So if you're wondering what colors I've used, here they are. So I've got 68, C, 61, 56A, 55, and 98. I won't be using these colors today. I am going to use the other set. I do feel like the color palette, if we look at it, the color choices are fitting for this type of page, so this jungle page. And I've picked out a few combinations. So if we look closely, you can see that Millie's pattern work is still coming through, which I like. I don't necessarily want to cover up everything that she's done. I want to try and keep it as much as possible so that when this is done, you can look at it and go, oh, that's a Millie page. So as you can probably already see, this page has a lot of repeating elements. So I'm going to show you an example of each one and then color the rest off camera as we go. So if you're following along, just pause the video between each element so you can catch up. I would like to show you the entire process as much as possible. I'm just trying to keep the video at a good length for you guys. So feel free to grab this book if you have it, and grab a cup of water. This is just like an espresso cup. And I'm also using a paintbrush today. This is a Royal and Langanickle one. That code there is Z73R. And the size is 3. I have chosen a paintbrush because I like to have the brush damp but not wet, and we can always use the brush pens, which I use for like my Neocolor 2 and my other watercolor. However, they're too wet. I need this just to be just damp, and I'm going to use the brush to actually blend in the paint together. So see how we get this painterly kind of look? That's the brush. Now you don't have to use a brush. You can use Q-tips if you like. You can use your finger. I just like using a brush because that's what suits me at the moment. And we'll also be wiping off our brush a fair amount, so just grab a microfiber cloth. If you don't have one, paper towel's fine. Okay, our first element will be this flower here. There are 1, 2, 3 repetitions of this. So like I said, we'll just do that one first. I'm going to go for an orange flower, so I've picked some oranges. So I've got T133 in this set, T20, T306, and T303. I'll do my best to pop these on the screen. I just do use and swap them quite quickly because it can dry out. So it is a little bit of a speed game sometimes. So I'll do my best to talk you through which colors I'm switching between, but I'm sticking with 4 colors for now, and I may add more, and I might even do some glitter in the middle, potentially with the Ohuhu markers, or even some acrylic, and then we'll just go over the top with some glitter. We'll see. So usually when it comes to painting with these, I don't necessarily start with the lightest highlight color. So you can see here this highlight color down there. I've done that at the end because I want that to sit on top. And because you can mix all your colors like paint really well, you don't necessarily have to start with your lightest like you would an alcohol marker. So I tend to start in the like a lighter mid-tone depending on how I'm picturing the flower to look. So I might start with the 306 actually. So give it a shake. That should mix it all up. You can just have a quick look in the window, see if the ink looks all right. Dip your brush in your water. Sorry, I would love to have everything in the shot here, but I want to make sure you can actually see. And I'm just going to pat that really dry. So it's still damp, but it's by no way is it dripping. So first colour, generally I just put the cap on the back. When you open it away from your colouring book because if it is very juicy, it might splatter. So, and all I'm going to do is one petal at a time. So again, this is the 306. And I'm just going to go over it in a quick little scrub. And I'm going over the pattern work just for the minute, because I want to work on the shape of the leaf, and I'm hoping that the pattern work will show through. I like to work one leaf at a time, one petal at a time. You can just do a whole layer if you want. However, because I want to work with it wet. So take that off, close that. Next color, I'm going darker, which is the T120. And it's a nice little prompt. Shake, then enjoy. Away from your work. And I'm just gonna, let's go darker inwards. I'm just gonna paint over it. Paint over some shadows. I'm gonna bring this out to about there. And it does look, you can leave it like that, but pick up your wet paintbrush, mix it together. Sometimes you might need to go back and forth with the colors if you feel like you've mixed the lighter too far downwards, but that is fine. Like so. Dip that in your water and dry it off. All right, now I'm going to go to the T133 and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to go out as far. And they will start to kind of mix already. Yeah, is a juice. Such juice. You could use a Q-tip if you don't want to use a paintbrush. I tried it. It felt weird. So I'm just using a paintbrush. That in. Okay, I'm actually feeling like I want to go darker with a color, and I'm almost feeling like I want to go a red. So I'm picking the T234. Tried my best to keep that on there, but not the case. Going over that a little bit, and again with my, just kind of dab that, mix it in. Wipe off. Now I might go in with my lightest and just do some highlights around the edges, and that being the T303. And just around the edge, get my paintbrush, make sure all the darker colors off it, and just dab it out. A bit over there. Now you could continue to build up the color if you want. You can apply as many layers as you like. Just keep in mind that if you add too much water and too many layers, you probably can get a little bit of bleed through. So I do have a little bit there because these are quite juicy. And if we look at that green as well up near the foliage, you can have a little bit, but it's almost bleed through. It's more just ghosting, but I'm fine with that because when I color this page, I should be able to color it up. So the other reason why you don't want a huge amount of water as well is you're going to dilute the pigment way too much and you're going to end up with like a wet splodgy mess. So if I could show you there, see how there's like a water bloom and there's water blooms down here. So you just want to try and keep your brush damp but not wet, and it's something that you really pick up over time. And I like how Millie's line work is still there. Maybe we could go over with a gold gel pen with that. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do the rest. So T306. If you like I said before, you can do one color at a time. I just like doing one section at a time because if it dries too quick, it's a little bit harder to mix everything, in my opinion, and then you're going to have to add more water. So I'm just going to try and let the paint do most of the work for me while it's wet. T120. I'll show you the markers for a couple of petals and then you'll get the gist because it's the same markers. So again, you can use a Q-tip, you can use your finger to blend it if you like. And this is not an exhaustive how-to either. There are so many different techniques out there, so many different techniques, varying skill levels, varying equipment, all of that. So I think it's more just about finding a technique that is approachable for you. T120. Finding a technique that is, yes, approachable for you and gives you a bit of inspiration to... Did I just use that? Yeah, I did. Oh, well. Let's go to... What was it? What did I have? Yeah, T133. I've got them right next to me. It's about finding something that is approachable and gives you motivation to jump in and have a go. Because sometimes if we can watch something that's way too advanced, we just feel so intimidated that we just never actually jump in because we're like, you know what, that is 10 steps above what I'm used to and I don't feel, I feel thingy about it. So not yet. And people can use a lot more layers in this too. Okay, T234, to think about that for a second. Yeah, these are really juicy, these ones. So I'm just doing like a mental comparison between these and those cotton core ones. And I feel so far that these ones are easier to work with, but they're more juicy, so we're more likely going to have some bleed through. So it just depends. T303. It just depends on what you're willing to use and what the payoff is worth to you in terms of, do you want stuff that's easier to blend? Do you want something that doesn't bleed through to the back? And I didn't wipe off my brush. We can correct that. That is fine. Okay, so correcting a mistake is relatively easy. You're just going to dot over it. And then once all that is off our paintbrush, you just dabble it over. So they're really forgiving if you use the wrong color. It doesn't matter. You can bring it over here as well. Okay, so we're going to use those exact colors. I'm quite happy with those. Oh man, I really could sit here all day and just blend a little bit more. But we won't. Could even go darker, but let's just see how all these flowers turn out. So yes, we're just using the same colors in the same order. Wait, no, I'm not. That was my third color. Oh my gosh, not my second. Wow, that's fine. Because all we're going to do is just go over the top with the second lightest one. And you can just blend it in. It doesn't matter. See, look at this. Even if you muck the order up, it doesn't. It's like, you fine, honey, you fine. You can just do a bit of that. Yay. And then we go back with the other color and we can just go over it. Yay. So again, if you're wanting to know what these colors are, just scrub back a little bit in the video. Maybe I'll try and remember to have a little, maybe I could do a little Canva graphic and have that in the top corner. So you could see the order if you have short-term memory loss like I do often. I will actually, for the sake of the exercise, how about we just do one color at a time and we can see if there's a difference. How about that? Let's give that a go once we've done this flower. I did with these ones down here because they are not as juicy. I wasn't as sold with that method. However, because these are juicier, maybe we can get away with it. Right, let's go with that second lightest color that's in the order. And I'll do my best to remember to do up a little graphic for you. If you really like this type of artwork and you want to see someone totally epic, check out Black Aneri on Instagram, which is Irina backwards. So Black Irina, but you're going to flip the Irina name backwards, Black Aneri. She does crazy, amazing stuff. I would love to be able to do that one day. Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be able to do that. Okay, all those colours. This is the third colour in the gradient. I'm just going to dapple it out a little bit. Let's not bring the paintbrush in just yet. Let's just see. Is that? Yeah, it is. And a bit up in the corner. Let's just get our paintbrush for those 2 layers. Yeah, it still works. Yep, you can always. I've seen plenty of people that grab their paintbrush and actually pull from the paintbrush like so. I'm not at that level yet. I have tried it. I don't find it very, it's not very intuitive for me because I'm not someone that paints generally. So I tend to leave that. So yeah, I tend to just go with techniques that I find more intuitive and more natural to me when I'm learning something. I can always branch out into paint. I just don't think as well, I don't know if the paintbrush is all that amazing. So, I mean, we could always try it, but yeah, potentially it's not something that I'm keen to do. We can have a go. But yeah, this paintbrush is a little bit fluffy. The bristles don't, when it's damp, if you can see how the bristles splay outwards even when it's damp. So yeah, I just don't know how we're going to go with that. Maybe I could get a fancy pants paintbrush and try it. I feel like I spend all my little art supply budget on pencils. You can always go over the top with some pencil as well if you wanted to add some more detail into the fold. I don't think I've tried that. Always happy to try, but I kind of figure that these look fine how they are without pencil. If we just paint a little bit like that. Oh yeah. Just want to get a little bit of this shadow. I wasn't originally, but let's just add a bit. Actually, not bad, not bad, not bad. Not amazing, but not bad. Bit around there. I think because these ones are quite juicy, you probably can drag it around a little bit more than the cotton core ones. I'm a-thinking. All right, the lightest colour. Mix it in like so. Again, I like that we can still see the pattern work. So there is flower number 1. Now I'm going to go ahead off camera and complete the rest of the flowers. So I will meet you back for element number 2. There are our 3 flowers complete. Now, if you do feel like you're losing a little bit of definition from the petals, you can go through and outline them like I have here with a gold pen and then just add some glitter pens in the center. It's really up to you. It depends. You might prefer this look. That is absolutely fine. To me, I just chose to do this with these flowers because I want some of my elements to look nice and bright and shiny like this, and I want some to look more like this. It really depends. So the next element that we are going to work on is this flower here. There is one there, and there is another one that's tucked up in the corner here. So let's work on this. I'm thinking I'm going to go for some reddy colors. So if we go through the selection, I've got T205, which is one from our prior combination. T234, which potentially, yes, is also from that combination, the prior one. T252 and T367. And the idea is that I'm going to go the lightest 2 there, the mid 2 there, and the dark 2 there. So there will be some overlapping. And the good thing about these ones too is you don't have to put all the stickers on. They come with the stickers attached. With these ones, it's kind of fun, but then it does get annoying after a while. You got to put all the stickers on yourself. So, so as I was coloring with these, most of them felt pretty good. I just felt that the T306 just felt a little bit translucent, so I just had to keep shaking that as much as possible. So using the exact same technique, I'm just going to wet my brush, get that ready. And I'm just going to start with the lightest, which is T205. This is like a very light salmon. Okay, let's just do one at a time again. I felt like with the prior flowers, doing 2 petals at a time was a happy medium in terms of drying paint time. Let's go with T234. This is going to have some leftover orange, which doesn't bother me whatsoever. Let's do a little bit up there. Dot a bit out even. And we blend them together. Now that line is a bit harsh for my liking, so what I'm going to do is just bring out the first colour again, which is the T205. Add another layer and mix it in. So you really can, if you feel like you've got something that's too harsh, you've brought a colour out too much, just grab the other colour like I've just done and mix it through. And I've just wiped off my brush because I felt like I was getting too much red still, but there we go. Happy with that. And once that dries, we could even go ahead and do that again. So T205. So yes, the good thing about these is if you feel like you've just buggered up the colours and where they are, you can correct it. You just keep doing layers. Let's do these two. Yeah, these lighter ones are quite translucent. The darker colours are a lot more opaque. Okay, back in with the T234. And sometimes if you just don't bring out your colour as far as you think you're going to need it, you've got more room to bring it out. So you've got room to bring it as upwards as you need to. And again, just getting a harsh line, which is going to happen when the colours are very different in value. So going to need to mix them a lot more. To get them to where I want them to be. Just bring a bit of that. So yeah, if you feel that there's too much of the lighter colour, then just add the darker a little bit and blend it out. And the reverse is also true. All right, there's those bottom two. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the 234 and I'm going to add 252. And then on the last layer, it'll be 252 and then the darkest colour. We'll see how we go with that. If I feel like I need to adjust, I will. Again, that's also the good thing about these is you could just keep adding colours as you need to. I might leave this line on the outside, make that some glitter or some gold pen. Let's just do one, see if we're happy with it. And you don't have to use as thick of a gold pen if you don't want to. This is the 252. You could use a gel pen. I just really like the pen touch and how it looks with acrylic marker. And let's bring this out. When it comes to where I place my colours and things, I'm really using the same principles as I do. Actually, let's do it this way and bring it in. I'm using the same principles as shading principles as I do with pencil. Just do that. Let's bring it in a little bit. I don't always like to have all my gradients going the same way. So always going from in, out, or out, in. I like to mix it up in the picture because I feel if it's all the same, I'd start getting a bit of a twitch. That's just me though. Let's add a little bit more of that lighter colour, which is the 234. I'm going to be saying these numbers in my sleep. 234, 256, blah, blah, blah. And if we wanted to add a lighter colour, could just a touch, just a smidge-a-rooney of that lighter colour. 100%, and then we can just dab it out a little bit so it's still a bit of something. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Going back to our 234 is around the wrong way for me. These ones are juicy. Look at that. That's just so juicy. I love it. The more excited I get about something, the more I will whisper. Oh, these are why these are my favourite, these ones, out of the Arrtx brand. Just juice-a-rooney. I feel like these need to have those track pants that have juicy on the butt. Let's just do the 2. 252. And just doing what we did. On the outside. Yeah, I found with these ones, because they are more juicy, you don't have to strictly do 1 leaf at a time. You can do 2, maybe even 3. How are we going with that? I feel like I could add that lighter colour again, just in the muddle. I really like how that blended. Sometimes it's just a total fluke. A perfect blend, it can be a, well, I don't like the word perfect. A good blend, it can be a total fluke. And you're like, how do I get that again? I think we got it. Not quite, but got to be careful with the paper. Yeah. All right. If you are interested in these markers, I will leave them in the description for you to have a look. Okay, sorry, that was that same 234, but you get the gist. 252. Again, I will see if I can leave a little graphic up if I remember I'm certainly finding, like I was saying, I'm finding that these darker colours are better to work with. It's a bit of a struggle to get those flowers to blend properly, but these ones just are working really well. But I'm fine with it. 2, 3, 4, because it still looks fine. I was able to adjust it in the end to my liking, and I wanted to use the gold anyway, so all good. Okay, 205. Blend that in as much as we can. Come on. There you go. Okay, our next two colors. So we're going darker. So 252 again, and now 367. So we'll start off with one. For me, I'm still learning how to and practicing how to really get a steady hand with the tiny gaps there. If you're someone that's used to paint and a paintbrush, you'll probably be very good at this. Okay, 367. And I think we'll go inwards again because I just don't want it to get lost because those colours are very identical. So okay, blend. Blend out. You can do it. It's like not blending as much as I thought it would. It's looking all right. Let's bring the first colour, the 252, back. I really like this flower. I really like this flower. Going back to the other two, so again, the 252. Could probably get two in. I reckon. Oh. Right, let's practice our smooth lines. 367. blend. So you really don't have to, as we can see, you can make some nice gradients and blends with just 2 colors. It doesn't have to be 50 colors. It really doesn't have to. You can make it as intimidating and as challenging as you like. You can make it as easy as you like. Okay, back with the 252. So juicy. I don't feel like I'm having to go too hammer and tong on the shaking and the mixing of this either. I feel like if you just give it a really good hot crack at the start of your colouring session, you're pretty right. Because I'm picking them up and putting them down all the time. But those ones, what are they? Maybe they're another layer. Oops, there we go. Back with the 252. Yeah, I'm so much happy with how the darker colours are blending. Even if I show you, see closely, I'm probably going to have to work a bit harder at that one to get that smooth. But the darker ones are looking better. Yeah. Okay, so that is that flower done. For the remainder, so I've got some greens that we can use for the vine here where the flower follows. I'm probably not going to do those until the end so I can figure out where everything joins up. And for the gaps, we can use some other mediums like a glitter gel pen or some gold. So now I'm going to complete the remaining flower and then we'll move on to our third element. Okay, element number 3 is this big triangle leaf right here. There is one more on the other side and it's just under there. I am just low-key loving that one. So I've just added the gold pen again and some red glitter. Yay. Yeah, I really like how that looks. I haven't done it to this side. We'll see what the difference looks like at the end. I will do it, but I just want to show you the different finished result that you can get with or without it. So let's look at this top leaf up here. So I'm going to go for some brighter greens, mainly because I want to bring in some similar colors to these leaves over here. I don't want all my leaves to be 100% different colors. I will bring in new colors, but I do want some repeating colors as well. So we have from our lightest T504, T513, T534. And I think we're going to start with our mid color. And I'm really liking what it did at the bottom, how we went from the outside in with our shading. So I'm going to do that over here as well. And then we can leave some of the pattern work for some glitter if you want. So let's do one side at a time. So we'll just, this is the T513. So we'll just go like so. Colour it in. I should have done that gold last, but so it goes over the top, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've just covered over the middle bit. We could make the spines look like this of the leaves if we want to. I'm really liking the look of the glitter at the minute, but there might be some other leaves that we can do that with. Now for T534. And let's just bring it on the outside, down the middle. Just going to dot it a little bit. Okay, let's grab our water brush and see how that looks. And then we can add some of that lightest color in the middle. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'm really liking the going out and in vibe, but we won't do that for everything because, like I was saying before, it can end up just looking a bit same. Does need a bit of, oops, yeah, okay. Here's an example of what can happen if you just go too much water. See that little dot in there? We can fix that, it's no problem. It's just, if you do a little bit too much, yeah, you just got to correct it. Like it keeps happening. Right. Now, lightest colour in the middle, which is 504. Let's just do a light smattering, like so, and a bit down there. And let's blend that out and see what we get. Definitely going to need to bring that mid colour out again, but overall, liking it so far. 513. Let's do a dot up the side. While that's wet, let's go back in with 534, and I'm just going to add a little bit. And mix that in. Oh, nope. Okay. Let's go back in with 513, which is the middle. What we might do is we might eventually on another leaf, bring in those other colours from the Arrtx set, from the other Arrtx set that I've got that I used for these big leaves down here, because I would like to repeat the colours, and this is just a little bit different. I'm fine with it for now, but I just want to also have those other colours in. Even if we do it on some smaller leaves, it doesn't have to be on the big ones. We can blend the colours from that set with this set even. If you're wondering what that set was, that is the Arrtx set of 90. It's like a beige, blue and green and black box. I will show you at the end if I remember. I'll try and remember to link up that video as well. T534. Check that up. Ooh, look at that juice. This one also needs the juicy pants. The juicy butt pants. Oh, it's down there too. That's all right. Let's just outline that because I can. And we're going to need to bring that out way more because look at that. But I'll just blend that for now so we don't have any huge streaks. We might even, on the outside leaves here, we might even bring in one of those old colours from the other Arrtx set. Right, let's go in the middle colour again. Sorry, the lightest colour. Down the middle. You could always outline them in gold, but I really don't want to go too much because, yeah, it's just, I prefer to be cautious and then add if I'd felt like there wasn't enough gold. But sometimes if you have too much of on the embellishment side of things, you just lose a bit of the, it kind of loses the impact. 513. Bit of that in there. A bit more of the 534. Sorry, I'm opening these across the paper. It's very risky. Nope, already did that. What am I doing? Blend that out like so. So it's really, even though all these leaves are different, I'm using the same technique in how I layer everything. And I'm hoping that that's starting to make sense and you're starting to see some patterns, some technique patterns, so that I'm hoping that you feel confident to give this a crack. You might have a Millie book and this might be another technique that you can add to your Millie pages. Another tool in the belt, so to speak. Oh, yep. I'll leave that. That's right, we can fix that up. Fix-a-rooney. Yeah, I certainly like to have a lot of, just butchering that. Oh well, we're going to leave it. I certainly like to have a lot of different Millie options. Let's just do, I'm going to quickly do that bottom corner. Probably don't need a highlight on it. Just mix it out like so. All right, let's have a look at how we go with C61. This is from the Arrtx 90 set. So this is one of the cotton core ones where you don't need to shake it. You literally just go in and you start. So let's have a look at doing some of these edges. So as you can see, it's the same brush tip. But they're not as juicy. But these are great if you're wanting to do a lot of different layers. Okay, let's go back in. Let's go the T513 for a little bit of, see if we can do a little bit of highlight on it. Just dot it around. Or even just drag it. And mix it. Just going to drag it down the side there. It's almost not deep enough. I could almost add 68, which is the darkest color. I feel like I could just outline it. So you can really get detailed with it if you want to. Oh, see that's just dried already, so I can't. So in that case, we can cover it up. And you can just blend it like that, so you can still kind of see it. It's just not as prominent. We'll keep it. We'll do it the exact same way because you can still kind of see it there. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind that if you do want to use the cotton core, they're not as juicy, and the cotton core does have a risk of just drying up quicker on the paper, but also in itself because there's cotton in it and it'll just absorb it after a while. So fine if you use acrylic markers very often if you're doing big, oh, it's the wrong one. Oh well. Big stuff with lots of layers. Okay, let's go back in with that 68. And we're just going to line the outside. Full well knowing that it's going to dry, so I'll go back in with the 61 again and just go over the top. And just blend it out, and we can still see it, which is good. So it's still doing something. Just doing this really quickly. Lots of clicking on and off with caps. And the other side. I'm going to go down to about here. If you want to follow along but you don't have these colours, just do your best to colour match it. It doesn't really matter if you don't have the exact. Blend it together. Highlights. Blend. Probably tell I'm working a lot faster with these ones, so there is a difference. Feeling like I do want to do a spine down that leaf. Not the patterns, but definitely the spine down the center. It might suit. Right, so for example, we're going to grab that C61, and if you haven't already picked it up, the C61 is that color that's right in the middle there. It has been blended a little bit with the other colors, but yeah, like I said, we're going to try and bring some of it through. So let's do a line. And let's do a bit of a shadow on one side with the 68. We'll see if that will blend. Yep. Has blended nicely. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and complete the other one off camera and we'll meet back for the next element. The next element we are going to work on are these curly vines here. So these kind of intertwine throughout the whole piece. So it's there. There's a bit of it up here, down there, and some on the other side. As a side note, I don't know how I feel about this glitter on this. I'm going to let it sit and see how it looks. Maybe I'll add another coat. It's just looks a bit there when it's like that. So now, because these vines are pretty much in the back, I'm going to be going for darker colors, and I've picked some teals. So our highlight color is 503. Then our mid color is 585, and then 589 for the bottom. We might add some more colors in. We'll see how we go. So I'm going to do this middle bit because I feel like that's a good demonstration. It's big enough. Right, so whatever that is in the middle there. So starting with 585. And we're going to do the whole top section here, I think. Now, if I can just get my hand around, because that down there is still a bit wet, so I'm just going to try and get my hand around it. Could always flip the book. This is a lovely teal colour. I don't think these have their colour names exactly. Look, I've just got glitter everywhere. Oh dear. Oh, this teal looks really nice next to that red. And it goes really well with these leaves too, I reckon. And I want to do a gradient from, ooh, let's go underneath. Okay, so 589. Go underneath and we'll work our way outwards. If I need to add more colours, I will. And the trick with this one is going to be swapping the shadow. The shadow will be there, but then I'm also going to have it under here. So we will swap that, or we'll be able to swap that around. And get you in the middle there. Our lovely brush, once again. Blend it out. I'm really liking this combination. I feel like it's goes well, yeah. We might even use it with some other ones. Bit of a harsh line, that's all right. Bit more of that mid color. which is that 585. You could almost go darker. For example, let's just play with it. If you want some shadows, let's have a go at see how black goes. I have a feeling this is going to be a really juicy black, so we might need to mix it. But that is very harsh, as we knew, because it's black. So we're going to blend it back in with that 589 over the top. And while I've got some on it, let's pick up some, drag it over, and let's blend that out. Yeah, it's looking good. We could just add another bit on the top. Sometimes a harsh shadow looks really good, I reckon. And then let's go back in with that 585 and just do another line. And blend that out. Start. Oh, too much water. But then again, if we start looking quite painterly, that's fine. Blend that all out. Yeah. And then I wouldn't mind adding a highlight color, T503. Again, looks quite harsh, but we can blend it out. So we can see the amount of depth that you can get when you add black. I suppose it's like with paint, I guess. And I've added black to those borders as well, just a tiny bit. So good for shadows. You could use grey as well. You could use brown. I mean, I'm really not the queen of mixing paint. I'm more into the pencils, but all right, 585. We'll do the process for the rest. I hope you can see all that. Probably could do the whole next bit. Oh yeah, this teal and that red look divine. I feel like I want to have more of that in here. cover up some of those black lines while making everything look as balanced as I can, because I still want to bring out those bright greens as well. We can do that for, say, yeah, that there's plenty of other leaves that we can do things in, but I'm really liking the way this vine looks. T59. Follow the shade around. Let's wrap it around this flower and bring it down the bottom. And we can blend all that together in a minute. Could almost do another layer of highlight, almost. Maybe. Okay, while everything is still a little bit wet, T799, the black. And you can just, let's do like a little dot, bring it, I'm getting it all over me. Be careful. Just bring it out there. Yeah, like I was saying, you could use grey, you could play around with brown. And we're gonna, let's just mix that before it dries, methinks. Just refresh the brush so it doesn't all turn black. Which it's doing anyway, because we've got drying bits. But that's okay, because we can add more colour. 5879. We can add more colour over the top. You can also apply and colour, get a paint palette, and you can scribble a fair bit of this in, and then you can paint with it if you want to too. There's a few ways you can do it. Probably should have mentioned that at the start. I do want more blending. That shadow. Smudge it out a bit. Yeah, the more I'm looking at this, the more I want that leaf up the top. I want to cover up that glitter, but I'll wait till the end and see what it looks like. Sometimes I can get a little bit trigger happy with correcting things. These would look nice with like gold watercolor threaded through it a little bit, I reckon. Okay, so I'm going to repeat all the vines with that. I tell a lie first. We at the 503 for a bit of highlight. Let's add a bit more up here. And a bit down here. Let's blend all that together a bit. I like it. Okay, let's complete the rest of those vines. All right, we have those vines done. They almost look like little octopus or squid. Little tentacles, don't they? How funny. And I've also just gone through and done some gold leaf as well. And if you're wondering, the pen touch is by Sakura and looks like so, and it's just a bullet tip. So I've gone through and I've also done these leaves. These were done with the same color as these here. So I've just picked the darkest and the lightest color, which is C61 and C61 and 68 for the leaves, if you do have these. If not, you could just pick a teal and like a mid-green as well. Now, just a note, like I was saying a little bit before, how this color is working with the red and the orange and this as well, it's really dictating the temperature that I want to take the leaves. I'm feeling like these ones I would like to go over in a darker color. I don't know if this warm green, this really bright green is what I'm after. I'm thinking of adjusting it because it's not really fitting with everything else at this stage, but we're going to do more of the elements and then we can cover them over later if we want to. I'm definitely thinking of, I'm not really happy with how that glitter's turned out. I like the rest, looks really nice. This one I'm just feeling a bit ick about it. So now what we're going to do is probably do this leaf here, because there's one there, and we've got another one down the bottom as well. So it's 3. And then after that, we've pretty much just got these 2 leaves, this lone one down here, the dragonflies, and some other smaller areas. So let's work on this one and sticking with colors that are kind of in this palette. We are going to try T585, T517, T503. And I know what you might be thinking, this lid looks a little bit similar to this. However, on the actual swatch, it's quite different. It's here. That's more of a cooler green. The lid looks like it could belong over here, but it's not. So sometimes don't let the lid colors guide exactly what color it is. Really do a swatch. So I'm thinking that we are going to start with that particular one, which is the 517. And I'm thinking of, let's just do a couple. I'm thinking of bringing the shadow from left to right. Let's do another one as well. Probably get 2 out. 585. And we'll just go from the left like so. One more over here. And mix that colour out. Let's see what we get. Oh, I like that. That's nice. If I try and cover over that leaf, because it's throwing me off a little bit, we can see it kind of matches these a bit more, so we can stick with those. We could even try a highlight of the 503. Just do a line there and there. Clean brush. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's do more of that. So 5, no, was it 5? No, not that. 517, I've got colours everywhere. Funny. I'm laughing. Very, very funny. Is this? Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm using. I'm even thinking I could go over that big leaf. Those big triangle ones that I was not liking. And this colour, but we'll probably, again, wait to the end. Let's just keep it in the one direction. The shade, you can change it up. So that was the 585. Yeah, a little bit more. Sometimes if you've got a light above you like I do, and the paint is reflecting a little bit too much, you can just lift your page. Okay, 503. And I'll grab what I have, put it there. Okay, it's feeling a little bit. Let's go back in with that 517. I'm just gonna dot a few. It just feels a little bit not as neat as the other two. So let's bring that back in again. Oops. Okay, we're going to continue with the 517. the 585. Blend it out. Just add a bit there. Oh, having a hard time with these. Maybe I should just leave it. Let's tweak it a little bit. Just a little couple of dots. That'll do. Add in the 503. You could always leave the highlight line there unblended if you wanted to. You don't have to blend it like I'm doing. If you want something a bit more pronounced, a bit more obvious, you could leave it. Okay, back with the 517, and I'm just going to continue alternating between these three colours. .585. This might need a bit of more of a shake up. It's getting a little bit watery. Put just a dot there. .503. What are your thoughts on a background, a solid colour background? Should we do one? If so, what colour would you do? Let me know in the comments below if you like a solid colour background. I don't want to do anything too fancy if I do a background because there's so much work going on here. I kind of want to just let that speak for itself. Let's go back to that 517. We could go black or a dark teal, or we could just leave it white, or even go an off-white colour. That might look fun. A paper colour if we can find one. Yep. Let's add a bit of water, see if I can mix that a bit more. There we go. Highlight time, 503. Our original colour, 517, or what you'd call, yeah, just the middle colour. We might be able to get all of this row done in one go. See how far we can push it before things start drying up. All right, 585. Mix those together. A bit of water. Yeah, pushing it. Pushing it a little bit, but we got there. Let's go, that's the 503. Okay, now because these little fronds here are very tiny, I'm probably just going to use gold with those. So let's actually move on to the leaf portion of that. And you can kind of tell where they are. So if you try and follow it, it's there. And then it kind of disappears. You could almost say that it joins up to this one if you look at the general direction of where it's headed. And then this one kind of just disappears. Sometimes they have the same leaves per plant, other times they don't. So what I will probably do is grab the lightest color and do that for the stem. And then if we grab the darkest color, and then give those a bit of a mix. And then we can use all three as we would. So this is the 517. Let's go to the darkest, which is 585, and I'm going to, let's just do the shadow on the left-hand side of both of the leaf halves, like that. This is the same structure of how I've done this leaf, apart from that one because I mucked up, but these ones are. I think because that teal is really juicy, it's kind of a bit, you gotta try and fight for that middle green that we're using. And then I don't think we really need the highlight. We can just add the darkest, which is at 585. You could go darker still if you wanted. And yeah. So we're going to repeat the same thing for every other leaf that's the same as that. So there's one there, and there's also one here, and then we'll just match up the vines when we can find them. Let's make a start now on this leaf here. So I reckon we're going to go more towards the aqua and the teals. So 585, 575, and 503. I don't think we've used 575 before. So we'll give it a go. I'm going to do a similar method to here, just not the glitter, in terms of we're just going to bring the shadows from the outside in and just on one side. You could treat these like these, but they are quite small, and I'm thinking it might be a bit fiddly, and we've already got leaves like this, so let's do something a little bit different. So I'm going to start with the middle colour, which is the 575. And just going to go all over it. Middle is down here. I really should have done my gold at the end, but I kind of wanted to show you what it looks like. I think we definitely will just go over that other leaf in the top right hand corner. I think it's too green, like I was saying before. It's too bright green. Okay. Now let's bring in the 585. And we'll bring the colour in a little bit. We could almost, actually, let's change direction. Let's just go darkest down here and bring it up, and we can add some black in even, maybe. We could make it similar to the little tentacle vine things that we've got going on. Let's try that. Bit of a brush. I'm probably going to add some highlights in too, I reckon. Let's just get that. Oh, too much water. Still too much. Let's blend it out a little bit. Go for our highlight colour 503. Blend that one out. So got quite a harsh line going on, eh? So if you can just bring that down a bit. Because it is quite a large area, we're going to add more colours. So going back to the combination over here, let's add in 589. Start from the bottom. Work my way up because there is a little bit of black on it, so lid, dab it out. Okay, with the black, we're going to probably need a little bit, which is the 799. Yeah, just a little bit because it drags pretty far. Cool. Okay, so let's do all of that again. So 5 colours now. So let's go with our, going back to the 575. And we'll just do the rest of the area. Down here as well. When this dries, we can always go over that flower with the gold again. Alrighty. 585. And I'll probably start from the opposite direction, I reckon. Probably go up to there. We're going to run out of space for colours, so I'll squish them in pretty tightly, I think. 589. and the tiniest bit of black, I think. I just need just a little bit there. Okay. So I was just mixing light to dark. Like so, and I reckon we just need a little bit of the 585 up in the corner there. Just for a little bit of shading. And I'll dab it out like this. And let's do, I'm going to do this colour, the 589, for the middle vein, I think. Nice to bring that colour out. Okay. So now there is one leaf left to do of that. So let's just go ahead and repeat that one. And then we can move on to the next element. With that leaf now done, I now want to move on to this here. It is technically a leaf, I think. However, because we have 3 orange flowers and 2 red flowers, I think we might even it up and make this red. And then we're just going to go ahead and fill in the remainder of the tiny leaves. So going back to our red colours. So those were 205, other way around, 234, 252 and 367. And what we did is one section we used these 2 colours, the next section these 2, and the next one these 2. So we're going to follow a similar thing. So I think I'm going to keep that tiny part gold, and then we might go darkest middle light. We'll see how we go. So if we start with the 252, and we're just going to cover all the areas because we really only need to use 2 colours, which is good. Let's take it to about there. 367. And we're just going to do an outline. Similarly to what we did with the other red flowers. Grab our paintbrush. I reckon I might do another layer of that first red. Blend it out a bit. I feel like it could do with a little bit. Most areas are looking pretty good, but oh no, it's all right actually. Might not need it. Yeah, no, we'll be fine. Okay, the other half. Three, 6, 7. And blend it out. I'm just tapping it until I get the right kind of diffusion or dispersion of colour so it blends nicely, and sometimes you might need to work on an area a little bit more. I think this is my favourite little combo out of all of them. Moving on to the next layer. So we ditched the darkest one, and now we are moving to these two. So 2, 3, 4, and how's your upside down? 2, 5, 2. Do a similar thing. You could 100% too. If you want to do this page, but you really don't want to do all the blends, just do solid colours. Like I was saying at the start of the video, if you just want to do some contemporary style, bold colouring, you can. And you can do as many coats as you feel you need. Okay, 2, 5, 2. Let's just do the sides. See how that looks? Oh, forgot that one. Just probably dab that down the middle maybe. A little bit messy looking. Let's try and fix it up a bit. And I reckon let's go for a strip of the white of the T205 down the middle. And let's just blend that and see what we get. Wipe off and blend that a bit more. It's a something. Right, other side. T304. T252. Just a bit there because it's blocking. A bit like that. Blend that together. A little bit harder to see when I was going around that side because of the light. My light's like up there. So, oh, I forgot a bit again. My gosh, let's just fix that. How do I forget bits? Let's go in with our 205. Bit of a thing. Mix it in, see how we go. Makes a bit of a difference. Just a touch. Okay, the last little section of this is going to be, let's go, I'm just thinking what colour to do first. Yeah, let's go with the lightest, the 205. This is quite a watery one. Like I've been saying, I feel like they're lighter colours. They're a little bit thin. And I was thinking of doing a background in a lighter colour, however, just because they're a little bit thin on the pigment side, I'm just wondering if it'll just end up making it look a bit weird. So maybe I won't do a lighter background. I could do a dark. I don't have to do one at all. You don't always need one. We'll see how it looks at the end. I'll see if I feel like something's missing or not. Okay, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to do a little bit because this has the potential to drag out really far because these are small. And I don't want that. I'm going to have to mix this because, yeah, last time I remember it's a bit harder to mix these colours in because of that peachy colour is so pale, so translucent. So look a bit harder to get at it. Lovely. Now let's add, I'm going to add a bit of that pen touch. This can sound quite scratchy. It's not too bad, but yeah, we'll see how the mic picks that up. This has an excellent shine to it. I really like it. I like how like these leaves are looking over here. It's like that very, it's almost like a Roman gold, like a ancient Rome gold. If you imagine, you know, all your Roman scenes from, if you watch Gladiator, if you watch, you know, any of those, ancient Greece, this colour just reminds me of that. This particular gold. Sometimes if you hold it at an angle, you can kind of see where you've missed and you can go ahead and just fill that in. Okay, so the next thing that I really want to do is tweak these leaves. And I'm going to start with the other one because this is wet and I will get my hand in that. I'm only going to tweak it by a shade or two. So I'm really just changing it from, maybe it's more than a shade. I'll show you. So it's been these two colors, this one and this one. I'm just going to tweak it more towards this and that. So it's just down a touch. We're just shifting temperature really, and also shifting value by a little bit. And what I mean by value is the darker the value, the darker the color. If you were to look at this in black and white, you would see various shades of gray and black, and they're all the different values. So these could be a similar value, but they're a different temperature. So I'm going to try this. I probably won't do the outside of the leaf fronds because they're pretty similar. I'm happy with those. So that is the 517. And I'm going to go over it and see how we go because that is pretty right to go. Yeah, it's not the right, it's just not the right result for me. And the good thing about acrylic markers is you can just go over them. And because these are so thick, yeah, I'm liking that already. It's much better. And then that darker one was, where was that 566 I was looking at? I'm actually going to go 589 because that other one that I pointed you toward before I haven't used before. It's this one I was thinking of. Mix and yes, mix those together. Oops. How dry? Yeah. I'm happy with that. It's just a bit different. It's just not as yellow as that. Okay, that's 517 again. And we can do that this whole side. And it's covering up that glitter quite well too, actually. I think. Might have to do a couple of coats. This is very juicy. The good thing is it's not activating what's underneath. So we're not getting any crazy colours going on. Yeah, in my mind's eye when I did it, I thought it's what I wanted, but then when I went ahead and it's not really bleeding through, it's fine because it's just kind of sitting over the top. But then when I actually went through and did it, I was like, nah, you know what? No. Just cover up the middle. Should have done that at the end. Oh well. Blend it out. quite messy. Maybe we'll just roll with it. And we're starting to dry. Let's just get a rough first. Add some of that back. Cover it up. Let's do a lighter colour down the middle. Let's do that T503. I only need a little bit there. Just blend that out into what we've got. Find that the more dabbing I add, the more like, yeah, dappledness it looks, the neater it looks, if that makes sense. If I've only got a little bit of, to me it feels a bit messy. But the more we have, yeah, a bit more texture. All right, I'm going to do the other one. And then we're going to go through a bit of a plan of attack for the rest of the leaves. We've only got a certain amount, so we can switch that up between paint and also the gold as well, because the gold will look nice on some of the tiny leaves. And then we've got the dragonflies to do, which we'll do last as well, because they are going to be very white. So when it comes to filling in little bits like these leaves down the bottom here, up the top, random little vines, you pretty much, this is how I approach it anyway, I just grab all the regular colors that I've been using and just alternate between the two. You really can just spread them around. We could do a gold leaf like I was saying before. You could do these colors. You could do those two. You could do those two. These two. Whatever you like. I think I'll show you some before we head on to the dragonflies. So this one up here, I reckon I'm going to use this T517 because this color is down here, but it's I really can't find it up here anywhere. And so to have an even dispersion of color, it's probably going to make more sense if I put this up here rather than just adding another teal, because I don't necessarily want all the one color to be bunched up into a corner. I want everything to be spread out. So we might do a few together. So just grab all the greens and teals that you've used. I could color both sides, who am I kidding? It's juicy enough. And I think I want to grab the 589 because I don't have a lot of that up here. It's kind of through here, but it's not an awful lot. I forget where the line was. I'm going to pretend it's there and just kind of pop a bit there. So that's how you can kind of make a decision about where to put what colors when you've got all your leftover little leaves and bits. You can kind of stop, step back a bit and go, what's left? Where do the colours need to go? Are there any gaps? And for example, there's really no gold up here, so we could add a gold leaf in there. So I'm essentially just not putting the same combination next to another one, and then we could do one over here too. And there's really not a lot of red either in that corner, so we can grab our red marker and you just do another little one on the corner. So that's starting to just balance it out a little bit. And then you would do the same for all the loose vines as well. So I'm going to go through from right to left and do that. And then we're going to come back and we're going to use some other colors on the dragonflies. So like I was saying, just grab all the greens that you've used, all your main colors for your leaves, and spread and disperse them around according to what you've already done. And you can also use your embellishments as part of all of that. So there is all our little leaves and stuff complete. Looking good. So now we're going to work on the dragonflies, and I've just picked out a few various colors. So I've got 306, 001, which will be our main color, and 303, which is probably more of a middle color. So we're going to start with 303, and the same thing as I'm going to demonstrate a couple of wings. We'll demonstrate one body, and then we'll go ahead and complete the rest. So I really only want this color to kind of be in the middle-ish. I really want the majority of this to be white, and I want the patterns to show through because I'm thinking of adding a little bit of glitter in some of the patterns, and that is the Folk Art Extreme Glitter. If you saw a recent color along with mine, Layla Julie's Beautiful Planet, we did a similar thing. So feel free, I'll try and remember to tag it up below. So this is that 303. Let's drag that out there like that. And then let's grab 306. Let's do like it's really just a hint. In the corners. And then we're going to grab our white and do colour in the rest of it. I'm not too worried about the lines showing. I want some of them to show through. Because it's going for a translucent effect. So with wings they are translucent, so this is just one way you can do them. In Millie Marotta's books especially. And I'll just get our paintbrush, make sure that's very clean. Not any green or anything on it. I mean, yeah, it's happening a little bit, but whatever. You can can go over it. That's the point. It kind of looks cool, though. But anyway. Bring that 303 out again, mix it together. Just a little, oh, there's hair there. It's a dog hair. Dog hair embellishments. Bring that out. Just dot it around a little bit. Same for the other wing. Let's do this one down here. 306. Looks a bit uneven now, doesn't it? .303. Let's dot that around again. And back to our white. Yeah, I don't mind the green on there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got an interesting effect. We'll keep it. We'll roll with it. Dot that through. And let's bring the paintbrush in again because you can kind of bring a bit of that green through like we did, just a little smattering. So what I might do now, I'm going to turn the book around so that I can work on the body. There's a few different ways that we can do it. We can work with the acrylic markers. You can work with glitter. You can work with both. I'm thinking what I might like to do is use a combination. So I might start with T144, which is a darker orange. We haven't used it yet. However, because it's on Dragonfly's body, I think it'd just add a nice effect. So I'm just going to do it half on these longer areas. It's kind of like a bit of a shadow. And on the end. And then I might grab 303 and go over the top. So this kind of acts as a shadow and highlight, and because this color is so see-through, it's kind of already doing what I need it to. I don't know if I really need to blend it. If I turn it around the other way, I don't think I need to blend that. And then what we can do, we can alternate between a gold pen, so we can fill in some of the sections here. Like so. And then we can grab another glitter pen. Now I might bring out that orange because I haven't used that elsewhere other than those flowers. We can bring out the orange. And we can just continue with that. And we can do the same thing for up here. So I might flip the book again. And we can alternate between glitter and gold. You can add in a bit of black. But I kind of like the look of keeping it sparkly. So you can approach this with any Millie page as well. You can just really alternate between like gel pens, glitter pens, anything you like. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the rest of that, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do over the top of the wings. So here we have our completed dragonflies. Now, my paintbrush stopped having the green on it, so what I ended up doing is over on these two, I put the white down first, and then I just flicked the other colours outwards, and I've tried to cover up the little green dots over there so they all look somewhat similar. Looking very pretty. What you can do is a few different approaches. If you want to work on some of the patterns, you can use any embellishment you like, really. So you could go on with even some gold glitter and you could do some of the sections. You could use any of the embellishments that you've used on this page just to tie it in. I'm going to use a bit of glitter. Like I was saying before, I'm going to use this one. You can, if you like, do a whole spread covering the entire wing. I have seen that done. However, I like to just put a little bit on a few of the sections and go by pattern. And again, I will try and remember to link a silent color along that I did recently where I used a similar method to complete some dragonflies in Layla Julie's Beautiful Planet. It's just a different way that I like to do it. I've also got a silicone brush. Sometimes I find that the paint, it just gets a bit thingy with a silicone brush, so I'll just, if that happens, I will revert to a normal brush, but we'll give this a go. So all I'm going to do, so rather than tip bits out onto a palette and have to try and scrape it back in, because it's kind of expensive paint, I just tend to dip it in myself. So I'll just grab a bit. I'll just kind of dip it in and start with that. So it's just a matter of grabbing a section and kind of just smoothing it out. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to need to get the paintbrush. Let's go back to our handy dandy paintbrush. because it's kind of a little bit like glue. It's paint, but you can't, I find that you can't, it's hard to like paint it. You kind of got to smear it. And if I can show you what that looks like, kind of see it there. It's just a little bit of glitter. It is like a green-blue glitter, but I think it's the type that does shift a little bit depending on what color's underneath, which is cool. So again, I'm just gonna dip in a little bit. You don't have to use this if you don't have it. Just use whatever you like. You could go for some stickles, because this is an ultra fine glitter. You might want a bit of a thicker one. You could even find just like a gold glitter. Do that. That might work for you as well. If I had that, I'd probably do that, but I don't. I am planning on collecting more of these because I've noticed that Officeworks has a whole stack and I want to get some. But I'll probably spread it out because, yeah, I think they're like maybe 15 bucks a thing. Just paint it on like so. And I'll do a bit in the corners. So I'm really, I don't know, like I've been saying before with Millie, I really like to work with her pattern work. I like it to be part of the illustration. I've seen plenty of beautiful work out there where people kind of cover it up. It looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, but just for me, I like to keep it there. And then we can just go through, do a few on this side. I'll keep it symmetrical in terms of whatever is done on this wing will be done on that wing. I'm assuming the shapes are the same. Yeah, I think they are. I'll do my best to. I've been known to, on the opposite, I think I'm doing the same, but then when you look at it, you've done the wrong portion, so I've got to correct it. Oh dear. Such is life. Do a big section down here. And this will dry clear, it doesn't dry white. It applies white with glitter, and sometimes it can be a little bit like, oh no, but yeah, it'll dry clear. So we can apply as many coats as we need to as well. You just keep layering it up until you get the glitter that you like. There's definitely a style that I enjoy when it comes to doing insects and birds and things like that. I like having glitter sections weaved through. Definitely a stylistic choice. Where was this bit? Up here. A bit more glitter. Okay, it was that one, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm telling you, I struggle. And then it's this one. And then it's that one. Yeah. But look, if I muck it up, I will just correct it and go over and do the mistake on the other side so they both had it. Because good luck getting this off. Could literally just apply this to everything. So a little bit of a look, see it's drying down that bottom there. You can see that. I might do another coat once it's dried. So I'm going to go ahead and finish those, and I'll show you what it's like as the finished product. There we have it, friends, our completed page with the Arrtx acrylic markers. Hopefully you've picked up some tips and tricks today to start colouring with acrylic markers. You might like to do something bold, or you might like to start blending and mixing like we have today with just a few colours at a time. So the shimmer is still drying, but it is a really nice blue-green, almost a purpley one. And Folk Art have a million different types, so I need to get me some of those. So if you are interested in checking out the set of the acrylic markers, I'll leave them in the description below for you. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I'm really loving the color palette of this page. I'm very glad that we went with the different green for these leaves. I might even bring this color palette through to some other Millie pages. What do you reckon? So guys, I will see you in the next video. I've got some fun ones planned. So have a great day. Bye-bye.